All right. So then I got to, yeah. So after that bungee jump, yeah, I went up to the place, and I rode my bike all over Quito. I went down to the Quito was actually the first city they actually really noticed where they have the modern downtown and they have the historical downtown. And so I rode my bike down to the historical downtown and, did all of the tours and stuff. And I did a couple tours of different museums, and these really cute girls, did me the tour. Kind of felt bad after because I didn't give them a very big tip. I should have given them a bigger tip, especially because they were cute. But, and then I rode my bike to some top hill that you could see in the ancient drawings of the city. Um, and there were lots of and then I decided I wanted to climb. Oh, and I rode my bike to like some like big they had this big central park there too with the half pipes of there's lots of people. It was a cool place. And I noticed there's lots of black people also in Quito. And then I rode my bike, or I decided I wanted to climb the mountain Cotopaxi. It's like a 5,800-meter mountain. I guess that's 18,000 feet that you can actually see from Quito. And and so I found some like South African kid who wanted to do it with me. So we went and we rented a bunch of like climbing gear from a store that was just a couple blocks away, and then bought some food from some supermarket, and then took the bus up there to a place, and then we paid a taxi, and we paid him extra to pick us up. And we took the taxi, took us way up, past Timberline to the to right below, to a parking lot right below where the like I guess base camp like hut is. And we hiked up there and paid to go to the hut. And there was a couple of like other Americans there who I guess had met there or something, and they were gonna like climb it all roped up, and the mountain was covered in glaciers and stuff, and they were like, "Oh my God, you guys are crazy! You're just gonna hike it without ropes?" And we're like, "Yeah," and they're like, "Oh shit, man." So we're like, "Yeah, so can we do it with you guys?" And they're like, "Yeah, if you fall on a glacier though, I don't know if there's anything we can do about it with you, for you." And we're like, "Whatever." So we get up at like 4 in the morning. We hike up with this Colombian couple and then some American girl who's actually from like Louisville, which is right outside of Boulder, pretty much from Boulder. Really buff chick too, who climbed like Chimborazo like the week before him, which is like the highest mountain there. Actually, the closest mountain to the sun. But anyways, um, we hike up and up and up, and then we get to we get to this crevasse where you couldn't even see the bottom of it. Could not see the bottom of it. The bottomless pit, and then it was like a bridge of like maybe 6 feet wide, and the roped up people go. When I climbed it, I probably should have asked him if I could hold on to a rope, at least hold on to the rope when I went across it, but we didn't. We just kind of like ran across it, like hoping it didn't break. And then we went up, but that was kind of the only part where I actually felt a little bit like I could fall in. But then we made it to the top right at like sunrise, where we could see the actual shadow of the mountain, like going like 100 miles off in the distance, and it was beautiful. We could see Chimborazo, the highest mountain there, and we could see Quito, which is like looked really close to us. It was pretty. I took a bunch of photos, and then hiked down, and then we stayed there that night because our freaking bastard taxi guy never picked us up, even though we paid him extra. And the other people took their taxi down. We should have gotten the taxi with them, the taxi that they could trust. So we had to actually camp there that night. We didn't want to pay to sleep in the place, but I had a tent, so we slept there. And then the next day, there were these American guys who were teaching English who tried to climb the mountain, but there was bad weather and they couldn't do it. So they gave us a ride in their truck. And back, I think all the way back into Quito. And then we were like, oh cool, well let's go climb Chimborazo too. But that kid, but then I ended up getting a group of like 20 people from the hostel to go and do it with us, and then we decided to do it with guides, and then it kind of got expensive, so that South African guy decided he didn't want to do it. So, oh my God, set 417. So anyways, then get, we chartered like a truck and a bus or a big van and everything. It's like this whole gang of us go up to Chimborazo and with 2 guides, and we stay in the first base camp thing, and then we climb up to the second one and stay there, and it was fun. It was like a big old party, and then we do this big old like training for how to like stop glissading and stuff. And then we get up earlier in the morning and hike up, but it turned out that the weather was bad, and um, Yeah, we probably should have known. We probably should have watched the weather, but we all decided that that was when we were going to do it. And the guides probably knew the weather was going to be bad, but they. So we had to turn around. Then there was these Indian people, and I guess Indians. The guide said Indians don't usually do it, but they went ahead, but they actually didn't make it to the top. I heard. Or at least that's what the guide said. I didn't actually ask them. No, but yeah, they didn't make it because they came back just a couple hours after we did. So then we drove back, but it was kind of a fun little excursion. And then so then I rode my bike down south, and it was raining a lot, and I kind of lost my motivation to like continue riding. So I saw there was this like hot hotel place off on the side, so I went over there, and there's this guy staying in some nice house, and I paid him $15 to stay there. He didn't have any food there though. It was kind of bizarre. And then I went and I think I rode my bike in the next day. Probably should have ridden it that first day, but to the next town down south, and I stayed there and rode around, checked it out. And then I kind of didn't have the motivation to do any riding the next day, so I took the bus down into what's it called? I can't remember what's it called. Some town, some tourist town. But I took the bus and then I rode my bike all the way down to some tourist town. What's it called? Really beautiful town though. It had hot springs there, and they had a really big mountain also right next to it that you could have climbed, but I didn't climb it. But stayed in the hot springs and checked out that tent, walked around it, and then took the bus back out of it. I was kind of getting lazy, I guess. Oh, I stayed in a hotel room that was like right on the edge of like some big huge ravine looking down. It was kind of interesting. Anyway, and then I took the bus down Ecuador, all the way down to the bottom of Ecuador, and some beautiful, 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 over some beautiful hills, up and over mountains, like something you would think of, you know, an Incan whistling on his flute with the llamas and stuff. I should have ridden my bike. It would have been some of the most amazing bike touring ever, but I just didn't have the motivation. So I stayed in some town. It was like a college town on the southern end of it. And I saw some girls at some hostel I was staying at that were actually kind of doing the same thing I did. They had bikes, and I saw them like take them off of the top of the bus, and then they were riding around town. So that was kind of cool. And there was this hostel I stayed at that was interesting. Man, I probably should have looked at the name of that place before I did this video. Anyways, that town. Anyways, I stayed at this hostel. It was like a big like disco or like party, like big old bar with all these tourists there. And but I didn't feel like drinking and hanging out with anybody, so I just went and slept. But the room that I had slept in was like literally right next to that room, so it was really loud but I thought it was kind of cool. My room was right next to the bar. But anyways, I rode around that town a little bit and then decided to just take the bus to some other town over mountains, some would have been beautiful bike touring, but whatever. And then I took the bus to the border with Peru and ended up just taking the bus. I didn't feel like riding, so I took the bus. No, I didn't take a bus. I took like a taxi type of car, actually, which is bizarre at night because there was all these cows in the middle of the road, and that the guy actually had to totally stop for and let him kind of like moo at him and kind of drive around in the middle of the highway. And then, oh man, why am I not doing this? Actually looking at the map and knowing the names of the towns I'm stopping at. I'm going to start doing that here. But yeah, I think it was like Puno, Peru, that I stopped at. The first place I got a room and walked around it. Peru is really poor. I think poorer than Ecuador, like, roads that are dirt and stuff. And I stayed a couple of towns in Ecuador, and I still wasn't bike touring, just taking the bus. Walking around the town and just a couple of those. And then I went to Trujillo, which is an interesting place, definitely. I talked to some people who taught English there, and I was actually even thinking of doing that at Trujillo. Trujillo is an interesting place because it's the site of an ancient civilization, pre-Columbian civilization. But I guess that's the next video.